अब वुमेन की लाइफ से जुड़ी कहानियां वुमेन से बेहतर कोई नहीं बता सकता.
Every time I go to the producer, कहानी सुनाने, I still get that feeling of fear.
And the teacher had written that she's the grandmother of the class because she just keeps telling stories.
So everything is like to make that little girl proud.
The journey is more important than the destination.
Women have actually made us the #1 automotive brand in the country today.
Women's Day is here and I'm super excited to be part of this fantastic panel with Maruti Suzuki India for the launch of their first of its kind web series, Journeys. I'm Gaurav Kapur and joining me today are some very, very talented people. Let me introduce them to you. From Dushman to Kareeb single, the inimitable Tanuja Chandra. From Turning 30 to Made in Heaven, the witty and deeply original Alankrita Shrivastava. From Gippy to Masaba, the wildly funny and sassy Sonam Nair. From being the author of 2 books, director of the charming Pinni, to her soon-to-be-released feature Sharma Ji Ki Beti, the multifaceted Tahira Kashyap Khurrana. And from Maruti Suzuki India, Senior Executive Officer, Sales and Marketing, the unstoppable Mr. Shashank Srivastava. 4 directors, 4 short films, 1 Maruti Suzuki Arena. So big thank you to all of you for being here and a big thank you to you, Shashank sir, for being here.
Thank you, Gaurav. Of course, I feel honored to be in the presence of these extremely successful women directors. Also, thanks to Terribly Tiny Tales. They are partnering with us in this initiative.
So, sir, coming straight to the reason why we're here today, Journeys. So, बताइए हमें, what can we expect? What is this about?
See, Maruti Suzuki Arena is an automotive brand. और जो हमारा जो बुनियादी ऑब्जेक्टिव है वो ये है कि we must provide the joy of mobility to as many people as possible. लेकिन joy of mobility is not about transportation of people from one point to the other. It is beyond that. हमने ये सोचा क्योंकि Women's Day था तो हमने सोचा कि एक नई जर्नी, एक नया सफ़र की शुरुआत की जाए और उस ज़िंदगी के सफ़र से जुड़ी जो इंस्पायरिंग विमेन रिलेटेड कहानियाँ हैं वो बताएं. अब वुमेन की लाइफ से जुड़ी कहानियाँ वुमेन से बेहतर कोई नहीं बता सकता है. And that's why we are thrilled when we had such prolific women directors on board for the first of its kind web series that we have created.
Sir, I think it's such an important point क्योंकि जो mobility आप कह रहे हैं, जो पड़ाव इंसान के जिंदगी में अहम पड़ाव जो होते हैं. I think for me also the first car that I bought was the Zen with my own money back then. अभी तो आई थिंक बच्चों को थोड़ा गूगल करना पड़ेगा कि जब हमने खरीदी थी तो इट वाज बैक देन. बट ऑफ कोर्स turning our attention to our talented directors over here, I'll just start and say, what was the first thought you had, Tahira, when you heard about this initiative?
It just transported me back to the cars that we actually had.
Yeah.
For me, it was more of nostalgia and living it again. And I remember my father, we had a blue van, Maruti van. तो उसके बाद life में मम्मा को भी कार चाहिए थी. My mother's also, she's retired now, but she was a working mother.
Yeah.
So then हमने second hand लाल रंग की Maruti 800 ली थी. So I just feel that the concept was so beautiful and the metaphorical journey that for our characters, the 4 of us and our characters in our stories, that they are going to go from point A to point B and how the characters evolve in that journey. I think that was really, really fascinating for me.
What I liked about this concept and this initiative is that I feel there's something about a woman having space and time to herself, and I feel that makes her reassess her place in life, and that changes things, and you start seeing yourself differently and your life differently. And driving is much more than reaching from one place to the other. You know, it is that, of course, but it's also that it empowers you in so many ways. It also gives you a lot of time. So I thought that it's nice to sort of, explore the in-betweenness of that.
It's so interesting because जो शशांक सर कह रहे थे about joy of mobility, that's what you've articulated so well. That's exactly what you were talking about. तनुजा जी, अब तो हमने decide कर लिया कि आपको तनुजा जी ही कहेंगे हम सब.
Please, Mati.
Because of your experience. It's an experience thing, right? Correct? It's an experience thing.
Absolutely.
But what did you think when you heard about the initiative?
So anything to do with women's stories is to me an immediate feeling of affection and warmth and inspiration. So I loved it from the get-go. And then, of course, this idea that it's not an ad. It's really actually telling very beautiful organic stories in which the car happens to be there. That to me was beautiful. And I think that women driving, for me personally, is also such an expression of the kind of independence and freedom that women have long wanted. And I think they deserve the world. So I think that for me, these things came together. So, you know, it's something that I'm really looking forward to making and presenting to the world.
Such a good point that you've brought up here, and how times have changed in such a lovely way. Sonam, your thoughts on the initiative?
It's so nice to see that everybody had such a personal memory of Maruti. I think that's what happened with me. When I got the call for this, I thought, oh, there are stories from my life or some kind of feeling that I would really like to share. Because, you know, it's there's like nostalgia, there's freedom, there's joy. But for me, what first came was my first car when I moved to Mumbai was a Zen Estilo. It was red. It was like everything to me. And none of my friends had cars. And it became sort of like a home that we share.
A safe haven.
Yeah, it was a home because there's no privacy in our houses. And we're all, you know, like in chaos. And then this like half an hour when I'm picking up a friend or if I'm alone driving, listening to music, it's home. And it's actually more private and more kind of intimate than our, you know, what was going on in our lives. That feeling is something that I immediately thought I should think about and have a story around it. And it's very close to what happened in real life, what I've written. So.
Wow, lovely. You know, what I'm loving about this is because you can tell that you're looking forward to these films because they are so personal, as you can tell. And I think for everybody, it's such a Maruti Suzuki is such a personal part of our lives. It's so integral, it's so focused. But what I want to ask you, Shashank sir, कि ये आपका जो initiative है और आपका जो focus है now, it's a lot towards women. What's the rationale behind this shift in focus?
Yes, I think women are a very, very important part of the Maruti Suzuki Arena family. यकीनन उनका जो किरदार है बहुत अहम है और you are right. एक ज़माना था जब शॉप फ्लोर से शोरूम तक it was entirely a male dominated domain and it was and very few women were participating in this entire automotive journey. लेकिन अब काफ़ी तब्दील हो गया है, ज़माना बिल्कुल ही बदल गया है. एंड इनफैक्ट नाउ आप मारुति सुजुकी में ही देखिए, हमारे शॉप फ्लोर से लेके हमारे शोरूम में हमारे बायर्स काफ़ी विमेन हैं. एंड इनफैक्ट आपको शायद ये पता नहीं हो, लेकिन हमारे नाजरीन के लिए मैं ये एक बात बताना चाहूँगा कि मारुति सुजुकी अरीना में करीब 9 लाख से ज़्यादा विमेन बायर्स अभी तक. तो यकीनन उनका एक कलीदी किरदार रहा है मारुति सुजुकी अरीना को नंबर 1 बनाने में. एंड वी आर वेरी प्राउड दैट women have actually made us the number 1 automotive brand in the country today.
Wow. Well, all 4 of you are at the forefront of filmmaking. I think the question that I'm interested in is, how has this journey been for you?
In my show Masaba Masaba, there's Masaba's younger version and how that's like a really endearing quality of the show. And I said, yeah, because I feel like everything I make is for my younger self. Wow. So everything is like to make that little girl proud and to make her, like whatever she was dreaming of, whatever she was, you know, cooking up, all the stories that she was cooking up, I just want to make sure that she likes what I'm making. But I grew up in a small town in Bengal, so very cut off from all sorts of industry people. But it felt something doable, and I just blindly, like without thinking that anything could stop me, studied filmmaking and came to Mumbai and started assisting, and it just actually just happened. The naivety of being young, you don't know the things that could go wrong. So you're just like, oh yeah, it'll happen. So I think that's my journey, to just like tell the stories that I cooked up when I was a kid.
How lovely. You talk about, you know, it's great. You talk about the dream and you're so excited about the dream. Does that happen sometimes that the dream kind of, it's the practicality of it starts overpowering your storytelling process? Do you have that struggle?
I still, for me, every project is as if I was just starting out.
Yes.
So and that nervousness, and that every time I go to the producer, kahani sunane, I still get that feeling of fear. and then of course the day the film releases or your series launches is got to be the worst day, because you're so scared and you're so anxious, but it's also finally happening.
Yeah.
So I think that it's important that you keep that 10-year-old alive always.
Wow. So this is like that journey never, it's always that up and down. Those potholes are always there. Huh?
I have a very interesting story actually, which I wanted to tell. When I was in college, I was studying journalism at Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi, and I was doing a project on women film directors in Hindi commercial cinema. I had taken 2 directors that I was going to study. One was Deepa Mehta and the other was Tanuja.
Oh, how lovely.
And I did this project. I had reached out to, somehow I got Vidhu Vinod Chopra's number.
Did she snub you?
No, I got her number somehow. So I met her and I did the whole interview and everything. I remember it was a Sunday afternoon. As the interview finished, I told Tanuja, I was like, listen, the thing is actually, I really also want to be a film director. That's why I'm doing this project. So what advice would you give me? And she was so kind and so honest. She said, the only thing I'll tell you is, in whatever capacity, just get on a set and work your way up. Everything will happen. Just jump in. And those words that she said to me have stayed with me till today. And I really feel that she was one person who really encouraged me through that one conversation. And then I came to Bombay and started assisting literally with no thought. I was like, I will do whatever job on set, because I remembered what Tanuja had said, just get on a set and work. You will learn, everything will happen. But I think it's important to just go back to the why of, why one wants to tell stories. And for me, it's very clear that I don't want to just tell any stories. I really do want to tell stories which are about complex female characters. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell this.
I don't remember this, and it's my honor to have helped you. I'm so happy.
It was amazing. I can't tell you. I still think about it.
आपने कितने भटकों को राह दिखाई है, आप देख रहे हैं?
I know.
I just want to say, sir, I think 5 short films होनी चाहिए, because the 5th one should be this film. है ना? Should be this, and we'll have to call it Tanuja ji.
I think
This film will have to be called
But
that.
I call Tanuja only.
she is Tanuja ji for a reason.
That's
For
right.
a reason.
Right? Because she is the mentor. For you, Tahira, how did this journey begin?
The only thing that I know how to do throughout my life, whether it was in college student, whether I was in radio, I was a programming head there. Then I started with PR, I went to events. Then I became a lecturer. I did my journalism too. And this was a very natural progression. It took time because I'm a working mom. I have 2 kids. Yeah. And I had to take a sabbatical. And taking a sabbatical means that the rest of the world in your generation have taken many steps ahead. Yeah. Then I was flipping my report cards with my mom, and we picked up my nursery ka report card, and the teacher had written that she's the grandmother of the class because she just keeps telling stories. And somewhere down the line you forget that dream, your inherent what you want to do, you just forget and get disillusioned by the world. So it's very important to have women directors and a women's lens, because they can pick up on small things and make beautiful stories around them, something that would resonate with the masses, and not just with the women, but the men too. Who says men don't have complexes? Men don't have stories. They do have stories and complexes, but थोड़ी machoism आ जाती है और कहीं ना कहीं छुप जाता है वो सब.
Yeah.
So it's so important to sort of talk about that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, this is a lesson not just for people who are filmmakers or for storytellers, not just for women or men, whatever age you are. I think just holding that childlike innocence and quality in you, and the fact that you want to keep exploring and keeping that dream alive, I think that's the learning that you'd like to get from all their stories. Shashank sir, अगर मैं मारुति सुजुकी अरीना के बारे में पूछूं, बदलते वक्त के साथ मारुति सुजुकी अरीना में क्या बदलाव आया है?
देखिए, सवाल बहुत अहम है, और सिर्फ मारुति सुजुकी अरीना के लिए नहीं. It's I think applicable for any auto OEM, because in automobile, whether it's technology, whether it is consumer preferences, they are changing very fast. ये जो तब्दीली है इसकी रफ्तार और तेज होती जा रही है. And you need to do a lot of research. And Maruti Suzuki does that about consumer preference in terms of design, in terms of safety, in terms of performance. But the thing is that different consumers have different preferences, but you can't have individual vehicles. So you need to somehow sift through this data, research data, and find out that this vehicle is what is required for a certain set of consumers in terms of design, technology, performance, safety, and that's what we do. And we are constantly evolving. And that, I think, is the most important part. You have to evolve constantly if you have to be ahead of your competition.
इनके opinions, इनकी stories, इनकी thoughts, इनके motivations सब इतने interesting हैं, तो ये films कितनी interesting होने वाली हैं. Chaliye, now we're going to play a small game with all my guests. This is called the Journeys Round. If you had to describe your film in one word, Tahira, if we start with you.
Can I do 2?
चलिए, कोई बात नहीं, happy hours है आपके लिए. One पे one free.
Happy Women's Day है ना तो फिर.
बिल्कुल.
Complex and humorous. Like every story of mine has to have a funny bone. Like there is something funny in my characters or dialogues. It has to be humorous and light-hearted. Yet, ये तो बहुत सब कुछ बोल दिया मैंने. Sorry, you go.
She herself said, cut.
I actually did that. No.
For this particular film, I would say, I'm going to use a phrase, but the journey is more important than the destination.
Lovely. Lovely. Great.
That's lovely. Mine, I will tell you in one word, sisterhood.
Ah, nice. The boss showing how it's done.
एक word बोला तो मैं एक word बोल सकती हूँ तुम जैसे. मैं तो ऐसे लिखना शुरू कर दिया.
Mine is प्यार दोस्ती है.
प्यार and दोस्ती नहीं, प्यार दोस्ती है. Interesting. Nice. Sir, if you had to sum up this season of Journeys in one word, अब आप भी ले सकते हैं 3. सबने brief तोड़ दिया है.
मैं बोलूँगा प्रेरणादायक, मुत्तसिर, and in simple English, it's inspiring.
अच्छा लगा. Again, this is a film connection because I remember films from the time when the title used to come in English, Hindi and Urdu. ठीक है. I'm going to describe a movie plot for you, right? तो क्या है ना सर, ऐसा नहीं लग रहा कि मैं नरेशन दे रहा हूँ प्रोड्यूसर को. सर ऐसा है कि एक फैमिली होती है of 6 people. तो they decide to take a road trip in an Ertiga. Ertiga में जा रहे हैं वो. सियापा होता है, रेवलेशन होते हैं, एडवेंचर होता है, इमोशनल एंड फिजिकल दोनों टाइप के, इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अ स्टोरी. द जर्नी एंड्स अप बिकमिंग अ लाइफ चेंजिंग एक्सपीरियंस फॉर द फैमिली. गुप्ता फैमिली कहते थे उनको, द गुप्ता फैमिली. तो बताइए इस फिल्म का टाइटल क्या होगा?
I mean, something to do with Raste.
Yeah.
And it's like a very nice family, togetherness and, you know, good moments, happy moments.
हम हैं राही प्यार के.
ओह,
हम हैं राही प्यार के या
तो बन चुकी है पर आई लाइक इट.
हाँ, अच्छा है. हंसते हंसते रास्ते, something like that.
आई लाइक इट. हंसते रास्ते. आपने ऑलरेडी नाम दे दिया, हमें राही प्यार के.
2. आजकल 2 का सीजन है ना. Everything is 2.
Sonam did say, हंसते हंसते कट जाए रास्ते.
हंसते हंसते कट जाए रास्ते. राइट.
Approved है. Check.
Collaborations are happening.
I struggle with titles. बहुत मुश्किल काम है.
I come up with them, but like it takes a while.
बहुत मुश्किल काम है, इतना आसान नहीं है.
अरे इन्होंने बोला ना हंसते हंसते
इन्होंने बोला है.
हंसते
रोड टू नोवेयर. गुप्ता फैमिली की लाइफ पे ब्रेक लगा दिए जो इन्होंने.
Doomsday type हो गया.
You're not going anywhere, Guptas. आपको भी अगर कोई ऐसा ही कुछ भयंकर सा कुछ देना है तो दे दीजिए.
नहीं.
ये अच्छा लग रहा है.
Guptas never run out of gas.
गैसी गुप्तास. ये 5 या 6 अलग जॉनर की फिल्म बन गई है यहाँ पे. Now, if talking about their journeys is so exciting, think about how lovely the films will be when they come out. Of course, I have these 4 talented directors here who've given us थोड़ा सा ये इन्होंने हल्का सा हमें टेस्टर दिया. जब आइसक्रीम खाने जाते हो तो 1 स्पून मिलता है ना आपको फ्लेवर टेस्ट करने के लिए, तो वो दिया है उन्होंने हमको यहाँ पर. Thank you for being part of this fabulous initiative. Thank you so much for sharing your personal stories, all your thoughts. And Shashank sir, a big thank you to you and to the Maruti Suzuki Arena family for backing this fabulous initiative. Before we go, any closing thoughts?
Well, this initiative, Journeys, is a humble initiative from Maruti Suzuki Arena and Terribly Tiny Tales. And I do hope, मुझे उम्मीद है, यकीन भी है कि it will really entertain and inspire all of us.
And inspire a lot more filmmakers to tell their story. Watch out for Journeys with Maruti Suzuki Arena coming on the Terribly Tiny Tales YouTube channel soon. Thank you for watching.